So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and most warmly welcome to this press conference of Prime Minister of Finland and President of the European Commission. And the subject of this press conference is Finland's Recovery and Resilience Plan. We start with the remarks with Prime Minister. Please.
Thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure to welcome the President of the Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, to Finland. We have had a very useful discussion with her this afternoon. We exchanged views on a number of topical issues concerning Europe. A major focus of discussion was how we can best work towards green and digital transformation in Europe. Finland has ambitious national goals in terms of reaching climate neutrality and boosting digital economy. And accordingly, we want the EU to become the world's most competitive and socially inclusive climate-neutral economy. We discussed with Ursula various aspects of the Fit for 55 legislative package that the Commission issued last summer, with the goal to cut greenhouse gas emissions by at least 55% by 2030. Finland supports rapid progress in negotiations on the package. The level of ambition has to be maintained. We consider emissions trading to be the main policy measure for achieving the target. We also exchanged views with Ursula on forestry and EU's new forest strategy. Finland's approach towards forests and forestry is a holistic one. We want to take into account environmental, economic and social dimensions of sustainability and recognize the overall potential of forest and the forest sector. We also discussed other topical issues, such as the need to move forward in European defence cooperation. EU's recovery package is a key tool to boost digital and green transition across the Union. As you know, major context of this visit to Helsinki is the getting insight into Finland's national recovery plan. Our visit here in VTT serves to illustrate one focus of Finland's national recovery plan. Our recovery plan recognizes quantum computing as one key aspect of technological competitiveness in the future. We have just now had an opportunity to learn more about VTT's work to build Finland's first quantum computer. It is a good example on how the EU's recovery package can support investment to advance new technologies. Investments in new technologies are indeed essential to ensure not only the recovery of our economies, but at the same time, in the longer term, to renew our economies. I would like now to give the floor to the President of the Commission, Ursula. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister, dear Sanna. Thank you very much for the warm welcome you gave me and my delegation today. And I would very much thank you for the fascinating visit here at VTT, the Technical Research Center, Finland's first quantum computer. I've learned a lot today, so that was really informative. And I think this is a perfect example for far-sighted investment here in Finland. We heard a lot about it, and indeed we need to strengthen Europe's technological leadership and thus create quality jobs that are needed. And that is the spirit in which we designed Next Generation EU, the 800 billion recovery fund. It is much more than simple recovery. We are reshaping our continent for decades to come. We're making the Green Deal a reality, and we are also accelerating digitalization in an unprecedented manner. So I'm happy to announce that today the European Commission has decided to give its green light to Finland's Recovery and Resilience Plan. This follows a thorough assessment and an excellent cooperation between our teams. And I really want to thank you, Sanna, for this excellent cooperation. It is outstanding. We have the cooperation, so thank you very much for that. The plan includes reforms and investment. It will further accelerate Finland's outstanding green and digital transitions. And I must say we applaud Finland's ambitious objective to be carbon neutral by 2035 already. Your recovery and resilience plan will provide an important boost to this important goal. So if I look into the plan, half of the plan, the Finland's plan, is devoted to the green transition, to green projects, 50%. This is more than it would have been necessary, so you're overshooting the necessary requirements, and this is outstanding. It includes spot-on measures in each of the most polluting sectors, such as energy, industry, transport, and housing. It will invest in, just to give a few examples, low-carbon hydrogen, in clean energy technologies. It will finance green transport and, very important, roll out charging points along the roads for cars. It will, for example, replace oil boilers with low or zero carbon heating system. So that is investing in the European Green Deal at its best. The second objective we have in Next Generation EU is the digital. And Finland is already a leader in the digital transition in the European Union and in the world. So now you devote 27% of the plan to support the digital objectives, and this for sure will help Finland to sustain its leading position. The plan will support research in 6G, artificial intelligence, microelectronics, high-speed connectivity. I'm very pleased about your plan to connect the rural areas that will benefit from the investment in the digital connectivity and digital rail services, for example. I also like very much that the plan will help the public sector to go more digital. This is always needed, and it will equip Finnish workers with digital skills. They need to be ready for the future. But Next Generation EU is not only about investments. The Finnish plan also contains a range of crucial reforms. The plan anchors the 2035 carbon neutrality goal into Finnish law. The plan will phase out the use of coal and make Finland's tax policy greener. In other words, there too this plan will strengthen Finland's position as green frontrunner in the European Union. And last but not least, it is also very good that your plan aims to strengthen the national health system. We have learned our lessons from the pandemic, and we know how important it is to invest in the healthcare sector, so to upgrade existing medical facilities. You will invest in the development of e-health. Your plan will increase the number of higher education study places, and of course also address the shortage of health workers in the medium term. Because investing in our future is investing in our health and in the health of the planet. So I have the pleasure to hand over now the envelope that gives green light to the Finnish plan. Here, Sanna. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ursula.
Thank you. And now we have time for a few questions, and we start with Wiley. And kindly represent yourself and your media before making the question.
Anina Vultonen from Wiley. We have learned about a new data leak, Pandora's Papers, revealing that thousands of people are still taking advantage of tax havens, even the high-ranking politicians. What is your assessment about the situation, and is there something that EU or member states could do in order to avoid tax avoidance? Thank you.
Yes, so tax evasion and aggressive tax planning is completely unacceptable. And we have in the European Union some of the highest tax transparency standards in the world. But as we see, it's not enough. More work is needed. And that's why we will come forward with a proposal on the misuse of shell companies for tax purposes, and this will be done till the end of the year. So we'll come with an answer to the obvious problems that are still out there.
Well, of course, tax avoidance is a serious problem, and I want to thank the journalists that came these avoidances to light. So thanks to those journalists, and I'm very happy that the Commission is also doing its best to make sure that these kind of elements are being ripped out of our system. So we are taking this issue very seriously, and we are working with the Commission and with the Member States to make sure that these kind of problems don't occur in the future anymore.
Thank you. And then the next question, please.
Lauri Nurmi, newspaper Iltalehti. Good afternoon. One question to the President of the European Commission. Is it possible that the recovery and resilience plan or a similar program will be re-implemented in the future? Whether it is one-off, I think that many ordinary citizens still have doubts about this in Finland. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. So we had and have an unprecedented crisis with the pandemic and the lockdowns and the paralyzing of our economy. And thus this unprecedented crisis needed an unprecedented answer. But the one-off is built in, if I may say so. So therefore, this is in itself an agreed system. What we will focus now on is delivery and implementation. This is the 21st Recovery and Resilience Plan, so we're almost done with designing the plans, and they are designed by the Member States with the objectives. We agree on the European Union. This is the Green Deal, it is digitalization, it is resilience. And now it's a lot about implementation, implementation, implementation. We have the milestones, the targets, and this will bring the European Union and the single market forward.
Olli Varis, Ilta-Sanomat. Another question to the President of Commission. Economy is now forecast to grow by 4.8% this year and 4.5% next year in the EU and Euro area. Why do we need to stimulate the growth more with this massive package?
Once again,
Why the economy is growing very strongly in the EU and Euro area, why do we need this massive stimulus package?
Yes, because what we've seen with, of course, the economy is growing because it has been shrinking so much. So if you lower the level where you start, the jump forward is a big one, but we've lost a lot of economic power over the pandemic. That's the one point. The second point is, as you know, now reshaping the world, the whole world has to get back into its economy. We see that a lot of supply chains have been cut. A lot of businesses have gone out of business, have gone bust. So what we do now is we invest in a way that with the recovery, we always also have the leap forward into modernization of our economy. And therefore, we were very strict that the agreed amount of investment has to go, as I said, in the European Green Deal. 37% of the whole package goes straight into the European Green Deal and green projects. So important to invest in this transition. 20% at least have to go into the digital. And you see here in Finland, Finland has even invested more in the green and even invested more in the digital. And a certain portion has to go into the resilience, which is improving our single market. So we use the time starting low in the crisis to really jump forward and modernize and to come out stronger out of the crisis than we went into the crisis.
I agree with Ursula. It's not only about financial tool, it's actually the way we build our economies from the bottom up. So we are now transforming our economies to the more green, more digital. So it's much more than just the stimulus package. It's to do with our basic economies and to build our societies in a new way.
Can I perhaps add an example? I learned so much here with the quantum computing, also what you invest. This is just the right thing to do. Because today we are defining whether we're going to be world leaders or at least competitive in the quantum computing age, or whether we're going to lag behind. And we see that a lot of investment is needed to modernize, the same as, for example, the lack of semiconductors we see at the moment being. So we want to create an ecosystem that really works to get us more independent of in the production of semiconductors, because we know it's desperately needed for our economy. We have sectors where the production is slowed down because of lack of semiconductors. So this modernizing is crucial to be competitive also in 10 years and in 20 years.
Thank you. So one more last question. Janne.
Janne Puumalainen, MTV Uutiset. Finland is one of the 8 member states that have signed a letter critical to loosening the EU rules on deficit and public debt. Did you discuss the issue today, and what are your opinions on reforming the fiscal rules, including the Stability and Growth Pact? Thank you.
Yeah, the Stability and Growth Pact, important will be in the fall to have a common diagnosis. What is the situation of the economy right now? What is the fiscal? What are the fiscal circumstances we have right now? And for me, it's very important really to listen to all and to find a consensus that we build within the European Union. So it's time now for the diagnosis.
We are, of course, waiting the Commission's proposals on this. Finland wants to make sure that the European economy in every member state is in a sustainable path, and that's why we have sent the letter to Commission, and now we're waiting for the Commission proposals, and we are always open to discuss, but still we need to make sure that our economies are in the solid ground in the future.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Thank you very much, President of the Commission. Thank you, everyone, and have a very nice evening.